and I with a chart feed.
Hey there, welcome to SharkCast Pod, a podcast dedicated to the greatest team in the history of the world. A team that just won 28 points to 18 up at Suncorp Stadium. You could say it was magic. I thought it was a pretty good performance. And we are live on the interwebs. This show is brought to you by Dyson Logistics, the Royal Motor Yacht Club in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes at Cripps and Cripps Real Estate. I'm Sam Shinazi. I'm an OG from 2015, supporting the team a whole lot longer. And we are initially joined, and who knows who else will join us, but blessed to be in the presence of a man who's usually right now filming the team song, but he is deep in the heart of, let's just say, a suburb with it sounds like KL. You're in KL is where you are. Gary Dover. Hey, my man.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm going very well, Sam. Thanks for having me on. Nice to jump on after a game and not be too busy.
Yeah, well, we're going to get busy hopefully with some listeners. It is a bit of an unusual time. There's another game on right now, so people might kind of snub us, which is fine, but we're doing this for our live audience as well as the people later on. So we're going to have a ball anyway. And if you want to join us, there are links on the pages to jump on. You can go camera, you can go no camera, just don't swear. But there's a lot to swear about tonight, Gary. I thought it was a pretty all-round good performance. There is a lot to talk about, and I don't know where to start, to be honest. I thought it was a very resilient performance. I know that the Eels got back into it with an extra man on the field, but boy, I thought I'm sort of lost because I want to talk about Jesse Colquhoun and how amazing he is and how amazing he's going to be for this club. But I don't want to start with Jesse Colquhoun. Gary, I thought we thoroughly deserved that win. I thought probably even more than a 10-point win. I thought power play, as you predicted and other people have, the offloads are still kind of one of the negatives from today's game. Easier said than done. I understand that. Junior Paolo's an amazing floater of the ball. But the only scared me tonight was the offloads, and they scored, I think, all their tries from that.
Yeah, that's definitely an area that we're going to need to clean up in the back end of the season because, as you said, like most of our points are coming off the back of that. And yeah, I was pretty happy overall. Obviously, the back five all running for over 100, 150 meters. They were, off the back of a short turnaround, they were really, really good, I thought. And guys like Adam Fanua-Blake, Oregon Kafusi off the bench this time. I thought Tom started really well. He's just a different body shape out there. If you got Oggy and Adden out there, they're kind of the similar body shape. And I thought having Tom out there is a little bit something different. And yeah, he went really well. I thought Cam McInnes was a bit busier. Jesse Ramian was a bit busier. And I was super impressed with Billy Burns as well. I thought off that first try, he just held his line beautifully for Nico to just cut his face off and put KL through the hole there. So yeah, all round a good performance. Even Braid's coming off the bench. I thought he was pretty strong. And yeah, unfortunately, Siffer goes and knocks himself out. And he was done for the night pretty early. So everyone else had to stand up a little bit. And yeah, I thought we did pretty well.
Yes, that's a good point, actually. We played a lot of the game with one man down on the bench. Siffer came on, dropped the ball. I think he saved a try. In doing so, knocked himself out. So an eventful short time for Siffer out there. We see you there, Steve. We'll get to you shortly. Thanks for calling in. Anyone that wants to call in, please do so. Gary Dover, you just went through every player in the team, and we'll do that a bit later on. But just looking at that team, I thought Kennedy again was outstanding. I thought my colleague Andrew Voss was talking him down a little bit, but I thought he was really great. The back five were terrific in their own right. Look at our halfback there, Nico Hines, 3 try assists. A fantastic game, I thought. He was copping a little bit of criticism towards the game on my text chat about not sealing the game, but I thought he got there in the end. Actually, our text chat, you saw that, Gary. I apologize. But 3 try assists for Nico Hines. I thought both halves were decent. Trindle had that timely 40-20. That was a beautiful kick.
Yeah, that was a great kick.
Yeah, and I thought it was the kind of win they needed after last week. I think a blowout score would have kind of, I don't know, hit a few things. I don't think a blowout score would have really suited what they went through last week. They grinded it out tonight. They get a bit of time off, play Manly next week. But yeah, terrific. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We'll get to everyone's comments. Trish says, go. Daniel says, great win, 5-day turnaround, Eels off the bye, player in the bin, and some bloody awesome defense. Absolutely.
I thought we handled that little period of Jesse in the bin pretty well. Like that first 5 minutes when he went off, I thought we defended really well. Like Stoney had a really good read on Josh Adokar going down the side there. Like usually Josh Adokar just burns every player he's playing against. But yeah, Stoney read that really well and held him out. And then I thought, yeah, just off the back of that little first period, we kind of fell apart and they let in 2 tries. But yeah, I was pretty happy with how he handled the way Jesse went to the bin.
Now, he was immense. His stats that I'm looking at don't look immense, but I thought his performance was immense for a guy that hadn't played top grade for so long. I love his body shape. I think that he's a great middle. He could probably play edge as well, but when he came back on after the sin bin, I thought he kind of was there to prove a point, which he did. And he made a good point, Gary. The first sort of 4 or 5 minutes of his sin binning, I thought they handled it really well. And then it sort of fell apart. The Eels realized what they had to do, and they did it. Scored a couple of tries in quick succession and got them back into the game. Let's bring in our friend Steve. Hopefully the technology is going to work here.
How you going, gents?
Hey, Steve, how are you, man? Thanks for calling in.
Very well, very well. A good
Steve
win.
Meet Gary, Gary meet Steve.
Here you going, Gary. Listen to you at the time you're on SharkCast. So
beautiful. Thank you.
Got to keep Sam straight.
Yeah, you do. How did you think we went tonight? What are your thoughts on the game?
Glad we won. I thought it started to drift away in that second half a little bit when the Parramatta were on their way back, but they steadied the ship and they got home. And I know you haven't touched on Jesse Colquhoun, but he was immense. I really thought, even on the Britton Nakora try, if you actually see, he's the one who runs through and he goes through the line. He doesn't stop. If he stops, there's an issue.
Yep.
He runs through. Yep. And also, there was an issue, not an issue, but an interesting thing just before. He took 2 hit-ups in a set of 6. Sharks forwards don't do that normally, not since Gallen. And he did that, and he's got that body shape, which he's a more mobile prop. Like, I'd love to see him out there with Fanua Blake, the complete differences in body shape. But no, overall, it was a good performance. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad we played first, because that field down that one end where we played the second half to score, it was getting chopped up. So you don't want to be playing there Sunday at all.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great, Steve, and also I like the idea of getting out. I guess tomorrow, Gary, they're flying back.
Yeah, they're flying back tomorrow, and there's meant to be a bit of rain forecast for the next couple of days up in Brisbane. So, yeah, the field's probably going to chop up even more. So to get that first game and have it, what they said they returfed about 60% of the field or something like that. So to have that pristine condition field to start the weekend, that was pretty good for us.
Now, who stood out for you, Steve? Give us your top guys tonight.
I actually would have said Blake Brayley, especially that first half. You've seen the amount of times he got out of dummy half. It was just like Fitz said, I want you to run today. I want you to get out and try. And he couldn't drag a penalty. But it doesn't matter. He had the Parramatta team thinking. I think I was happy with Nico, but he just drifted out of that game fractionally in the second half, then came back in. And it's actually a comment they said about Mitch Moses, who used to do it. I think Kennedy again played well. And actually, I'm going to give a shout out to Ronaldo. Was immense. And I love the hit. And when the guy's on the ground, when he gives it to him, I love that type of stuff, because you got to get up and play. But Stoney went well. I mean, and I'm noticing now, if you notice when he takes the hit up, he was getting pushed back before. He's now looking for an offload. You see how many times he's getting that arm free? that's something he could develop, which is different, as long as he doesn't do it when he shouldn't. But it's something he can develop, which a lot of other wingers don't develop.
Yeah, it's a great point. Great point. And I think he might be doing that because he knows that he's not the biggest meter eater in the world. And it's a good way to be effective. You get your 5-6 meters, you pop it, the next guy goes off. I thought we offloaded pretty good tonight. We just couldn't maintain theirs. But overall, defensively, I was pretty happy. I mean, we did concede down a man. That's going to happen, unfortunately. And I thought the kicking game was pretty good. I was really happy, boys, with the pack. And I say that about the entire pack and the bench. I thought that the go forward was really good. I really loved Tall Tom starting. I thought that was a really good move. And Oregon, when he came on, he had a couple of penalties in him, but he went pretty good. But just to get that go forward happening early in the game, and I wonder if that'll be something they do moving forward, having Tall Tom there, because with him and Fanua Blake, it's just that extra added punch. Cam McInnes was superb. Both second rowers were great. I mean, obviously, Nicker is going to get the headlines and everything, but I was impressed with Billy Burns as well. And Hamlin Welly, came back again, and he was pretty solid, pretty dominant out there. So I'm just going to bring in a fourth member to the show right now. Josh meet Steve. Steve meet Josh. The other fella.
Keep going, Josh.
How you going, mate?
Good, mate.
Steve, give me a negative from tonight. What were you worried about still moving forward? What didn't you like?
I conceded 18 points. The offloads. The offloads were, they just got one after another, after another, after another. And that means you're doing more defensive work. That means you've got to keep dragging across. And if they don't potentially score from that first offload, your defense is pulled apart. And that's how you pull apart a defense. And eventually you will concede a try. And there was that offload in that first try of Josh Adokar, that late offload. Then they spun it left. And then Jesse tried to solve the problem. And if you don't solve that problem, you concede a try. And those offloads, that's where you get your problems.
Yeah, Troy has written to us and said 2 tries when it's 4 men on. Then other than that, the defense was amazing. And I agree with that, even though we're critical of the offloads. And as I said at the start, it is easier said than done, particularly with a guy like Junior Paolo. Like, it's just, I know it's your job to wrap it up, but sometimes you just can't. But we did see tonight, I believe all the tries came from offloads, or all the line breaks, at least, the almost tries. So they're going to need to keep continuing working on that. But I think if that's our negative, we can live with that, especially winning by 10 points. Anything else you want to give to us, Steve, before we rock and roll? Sorry, Gary.
Yeah, just
saying, especially off the back of a short week. Like, we obviously had no time to train. Then Siffer goes down after 2 minutes. Like, the big boys probably didn't expect to play that many minutes, some of them. So to hold on there defensively pretty well, apart from the offloads, I thought we were pretty good.
I know we banged on about it all week. I know that we were getting a little bit annoying, a little bit cheeky. But Fitzy said in the pregame, and I don't know if he was joking or not, he said they had half an hour on the field training. Now, maybe he just meant, collision training, not including captain's run and, kicking and passing, whatever. But it was a mammoth effort to do all that, down 12 men, travel to Suncorp, all the emotion of Magic Round, the hype. I'm really impressed by that win. And I'm not suggesting it was the greatest win in the club's history. I just think it was something they needed to do, grind it out. And even at the end, when the game's aligned, we're all a bit nervous, right? And they got it done. So
Fitzy's not even exaggerating. I reckon they had a half an hour session on the first training day they had, and then captain's run was super light. So, they barely got any time on the field.
Hey, Steve, what'd you make of Nico Hines?
I think he went well. He set up that Britain Nakora try very well there. It's just that drift out just fractionally, but you've got to work on that, and that's more practice. And I mean, and Fitz is right. I mean, you got to see how many games Nico's played as halfback, and then how many he's played with Trindle, and also he's got Fanua Blake there. So before I jump off, just quick 3 points, and I'm gone.
Please.
Having the 4 forwards on the bench actually benefited us tonight, because when Talakai went down, if we would have had Atco there, we wouldn't have had that forward, and that would have caused an issue. And compared to how well Jesse went. Second, a shout out to Billy Burns. He's the one who called for the review. We never get a review right. He's the one who went to the referee and said, go for the review, and we got it back. And we're playing Manly next week. When's the last team in the NRL to play 2 teams have come off a bye?
We'll look that up
In a
during the
row.
week for you, Steve. Can't tell
In a
you
row.
right now, but in a row, I got you. We'll work it out. Maybe shoot me a message. We'll get that one for you. But yeah, great points. Thanks for jumping on, Steve. We'll let you go. Hang on, listen to the show, however you're going to listen to, and chime in on the comments.
I'm up in Brisbane, so I didn't go to Magic Round. I can't watch other teams play. So and I would have imagine me leaving the ground. It wouldn't have looked good.
I think it'd be great. Put your jacket on. You're out of here. Business is all done. Jump in the comments later. All right. Thanks so much for jumping on. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
See you guys. Have a great night.
See you, mate.
Hey, Josh Bowling, what's going on?
I'm just trying to pull myself together after that final 15 minutes. I was pacing the lounge room and getting into my little squats, and I can't sit still, but just really relieved. I was so proud of them. I thought they put in so much effort, especially after the short week they've had in the Golden Point. Just super stoked with that one.
What did Little Dover think?
What do you think of the game, Arlo? Good.
Hey, Arlo, how are you, man?
Nico.
Yeah, we all love Nico. Everyone except Jardy loves Nico. Is Arlo playing tomorrow?
Soccer tomorrow, if it's still on, but no footy.
No footy? Okay. Josh, I wasn't pacing or in the funny positions we get into, but I was a fraction nervous, wondering if this would happen again, but it didn't, thankfully. Tell us about your overall impression of the game, Josh.
Yeah, like I said, just really gutsy. I thought a lot of the desperation defense, the last minute someone get there, and the tenacity. I thought they played with real grit tonight. A grit and a determination I think that's been lacking the last few weeks. You could really see the effort that the boys are putting in. Yeah. And I know they must have been exhausted and had so much that first half. We defended our line so many times and turned them away. Just really, really proud of them, actually. That's the kind of performance you can hopefully build your season on. Another big game next week coming up. But just really, really proud of that one.
J. Rick says, Brayley's hearing our comments. I've still got more to offer, but for me, he was best on ground. Can't wait for more for him. He was very, very good. Crowy21 says, I'm getting on the William Kennedy cruise liner to Blake Brayley Island. So not only do we have a comment of the night already, I think we're all going to go on that cruise liner. Now, having said that, Crowy21 and Josh and Gary, I was most nervous tonight when Will pulled up short a little, maybe 2 or 3 times with an injury. And I'm guessing he's going to be okay, he finished the game. But we were speculating on the Gaz and Shanaz show what's going to happen here. And we were rightfully pointed out that Dan Atkinson is the next guy in line. However, Dan Atkinson wasn't there because Will didn't want him to be there because we want 4 forwards. And then Will's hopping around the whole game, was like, oh, not this game. Like, yeah. But otherwise, I thought he was great. Crow 21, you're right. I thought they were close to, I think Blake was maybe the best. Will was pretty good. I don't know if he's going to jag too many points today. Maybe he will, but in the Dally M's. But it was a great team effort. Tim says Sharks played fairly good. Overall, very happy. Stoked with the win. Parra's third try was disgraceful. Too many offloads, ineffective tackles. Yep, absolutely great point. Darby's got a great point here. Hero is my hero. It rhymes, but we're going to refer to him as KL from now on. And I thought from the get-go he was outstanding. His is my favorite thing about him. Josh, what do you think about KL?
Yeah, like you said, the defense, he's sliding out defense when he shows the space, and then he just storms in and just like wraps them around the hip and flings them and like shut down so many of their plays tonight. And I thought Jesse as well, by the way, his defense at center was extraordinary. I thought both of our center's defense was really, really strong. KL during the week, did you sense that he was going to have that monster game? You thought he was ready to rock, ready to go?
He wasn't necessarily doing heaps at training. Like, they're obviously still easing him back into it. But whenever he's on the field, he's going to have a good game. Like, he's just one of those centers who's defensively so solid. Like, 15 tackles, no misses. Attacking-wise, like, such a strong runner of the ball. You always know if he's on the field, he's going to have that type of performance. So I don't think we see too many bad games from KL. But, yeah, that was just another one that confirms to me how much we kind of need him out there in the centers.
Mitch says our D is our biggest positive that we can take away from the first part of the season, something you can build on for the rest. 30 seconds more defense versus the Raiders. 10 centimeters to the right. Last week's field goal. We're sitting very pretty. So Mitch is going down we almost got there, and I'm with you. I agree. Like it's never as bad usually as it seems, unless the year is 2003 or something. So it's or 2014 for our younger listeners. But I agree with you, Mitch. Like the D is going really well, and that won't be conceding much to Para, and Para are a pretty good at attacking team. I thought today, guys, that Para actually played pretty good for a team that's at the bottom of the table. Like they kind of brought it. I thought both sides of the ball, and a few things here or there. I think there were no real lucky calls for us, but there were a few sort of things that went our way, and I was never overly comfortable once it was sort of once they got back into the game. I wasn't overly comfortable with that last try, but I thought Para were okay for a team that allegedly can't play this year.
Yeah, and like Steve said, it was the offloads. I thought we contained them pretty well when they had a lot of ball in our ends, but it was just the offloads really. Besides that, they didn't throw a lot at us. A lot of their shape is fairly pedestrian unless it comes from Mitch Moses, but it's just the offloads. He shut those down, and it's been the same story for most of the year. We should, if we were able to concede 5 offloads a game, I think we win most games. It's just that second base play. We do tend to struggle because we put a lot of men in the tackles, and there's just a lot of space around that ruck for quick guys to break through. So the defense, I think, like I said all year, I think the defensive structure is really good, and I think it has been for ever since Fitz has been here. It's just that second phase play we seem to struggle to shut down at times.
Adrian says everyone did their job. Great team win. Please re-sign Will ASAP. Well and worked well together. Yep, that's great stuff, Adrian. Thank you for your comments. Joe wants to know why Gary's not in Brisbane. That's none of your business, Joe. But he did say also he thought he played great all round. Why can't they wrap around the tackle? Offload still killing us. Joe, it's hard, man. There's no excuses. I thought tonight was better. I mean, let's look at the stats right here. Offloads 8 to 12. We had 8. They had 12. So less than last week, but still probably 5 or 6 too many. So it's a hard one, Joe. What's that?
Felt like more than that. Felt like every time they ran, their bloody popped an offload.
These are from the best stats in the business. We're going to call it 12, right? Am I reading it right? Yeah, 12. Now, Adam says start the half. Ronnie was quiet, not attacking the ball and kicks in the second half. He fired up. Yeah, I didn't think he was too bad in the first half, Adam, but he definitely had a monster second half. Appreciate your comments. Dan's got the spelling wrong when he said Bradley was the standout for him, which he was very good. Adam confirms that they had 30 minutes of field training. Our buddy Matt Crosby, an OG, says evening the team played better. Attack is still clunky. Good to see your own BHU back. Need to stop those offloads. Bit of a theme. Did you guys think the attack was? Oh, we've got another Dover here. Which Dover is that?
This is Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Did you watch the game, Bonnie?
Bits and pieces, but not the whole
Bits and pieces. Bonnie, stay on the line. I'd like you to meet someone. You know how much you guys love Nico Hines? This person coming in loves Nico Hines even more. There he is, Jardian Ormsby. How are you, Jardian?
Hey.
Let me say this. I come tonight in peace.
Hey.
I know I said what I said, and I know that everyone in this chat knows what that means, but I come in peace right now. I'm glad we got the 2 points.
You're not moving us away from Woolaware. That's great news, Jardian.
Not today. I got bigger fish to fry today. But we can get into that
now.
later.
We have a third Dover on screen now.
They're coming from everywhere, aren't
The Dover clan.
This is little.
This is Banksy.
Hi, Banksy. I know you from Shark Park. Hi, Banksy. How are you?
Good.
That's good. Now, there's actually, touch wood, I don't want to ruin anything here. The big secret, Gary. There's a 4th Dover on the way.
There is. Yes.
Not tonight, touch wood.
Not tonight, hopefully. No, I'm not
Congratulations,
to
mate.
the end of June. So looking
So
forward
Gary
to
wants
that
to have
one.
his own football team, which is awesome.
I've got my-
Jardian, tell me, Jardian, about your thoughts on the game. Like, what did you like? Tell me things.
I thought it was, I was looking at a comment here and there, and that's what made me kind of jump on. I thought it was a little bit clunky at times, but on the whole, an improvement from the last few weeks. There were some things that I really, really liked. I thought that they actually showed a little bit more resilience tonight. We conceded a couple of tries down a man, but other than that, I thought they showed a lot more steel than we had in the past. I did get nervous for a little bit, thinking, "Oh no, here we go again. We're going to throw away 2 points that we absolutely should have had." But the fact that we didn't, and that they were able to do that down a man for quite an important stretch of the game, kind of like, if ever I felt like we might have turned the corner on the season, maybe tonight was it for me.
Oh, good.
So I liked it.
Yeah. Scott's come out of the sheds. I know he played decent, but Fitz needs to make an example and drop Dressy Colquhoun. Sin bins cost games. There was no need for it. It was lazy and stupid. Now, I agree it was lazy and stupid. But after what I saw tonight, I don't think you can drop him just for that. I appreciate your thought. Appreciate you writing in, Scott. You're a ledge. But I think that's a bit harsh, given that we got away with it, given that we won the game. Jesse's a pretty switched on guy. He won't be doing that again. So I'm just going to say I think that's a bit harsh, and we'll move on, but appreciate it. Nathan wants to know if Siffer is okay. I think we'll have to get a few tests done, but I think that he just had no chance of coming back on the field. So we'll see what happens next week. We've got till next Sunday to play. So that's what's going on there. Our friend Pete says,
does that mean he's out?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the NRL guy.
It's 11 days, isn't it? So,
well, yeah, they won't risk him if they won't risk him. So we'll see what happens there. Pete says more born week. The DMing is done. 4 forwards was the difference tonight. I love the 4 forwards on the bench. I'm that guy. I'm going to tell you that I don't think it's necessarily done. I think that it might be situational. I think it might be maybe week to week, game to game. I don't think, put it this way, I don't think Fitz is just going to go, it's done. But I know what Pete is saying. I'm just going to put this one up from our merch king, Adam Barnes. I need a hoodie upgrade. Well, I mean,
Barnes, I need an everything upgrade. Barnes, come on. I need everything upgrade.
How does one get a hoodie upgrade? I mean, you tell me, Adam. You're telling the story, brother. Appreciate you tuning in. Adam Barnes, one of the great men in the world. Susan says, very happy with the win, especially after a 5-day turnaround. Eels having the bye. Absolutely. Hopefully onwards and upwards. Go Sharkies. Up. Regards, Sue. Thank you very much, Sue. Appreciate you tuning in. Jardian, what didn't you like tonight?
I thought there were a couple of times where...
Just say it. It's all good.
I thought there were a couple of times where our execution in the opposition 20 was just found wanting. I mean, I guess for the benefit of everyone else who's listening to this that doesn't have access to our chat, I did send a message at one point when Nico threw a pass to someone's feet where I was just like, I was like actually dying in that moment, and I expressed my my frustration with it. Totally mindful of the fact that I thought he was amazing defensively tonight. And I do think he's an above average defender when it comes to being a half. But and it's not just Nico either, but there are others where I felt like there's points to be had, points that we should really be banking when we're going down the opposite end of the field. And we're just not, for execution reasons. Reasons that I just think we're way better than that. And I think if we're going to be a top 4 team, we're going to have to execute a little bit better than sometimes we are. I thought in the middle of the park and defensively, I thought we were awesome tonight. I thought we were really good.
Yeah.
It's just that like trying to wrap it up, trying to get those 4-pointers and 2-pointers. We're a work in progress, which is okay.
I think to their credit, Jards, and I don't disagree with anything you just said, I think to their credit, they got it in the end with the Stone Street try at the end. Was it Stone Street? Whoever it was at the end. So they got there, which is positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were definitely some times where it fell apart. And, maybe that's got something to do with half an hour of training during the week. I don't know. Maybe if they trained every day, it'd be the same. I can't tell you. We're not sure. But I just don't think that the setup for the week was ideal. I've harped on it about enough, but I just think in this day and age, it was a big ask. They went up there, they got the job done. They're going to get out of there and look to Manly. So 1 week at a time. Yeah, go ahead.
How many travel miles are we at right now? Like, it's got to be up there.
I think someone did it at the start of the year. I don't know what we're up to now, but it's significant. Yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be huge.
Hey, Gary, what's the deal with frequent flyers? You know, this is a employee. Like, do they each get frequent flyers or not?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Or does the board get them? Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure they do get them because I've got mine before. So I'm sure all the boys throw their on there. But I've just looked up online and it says in the first 9 rounds of the 25 NRL season, the Cronulla Sharks will travel approximately 40,000 kilometers.
Wow.
That's a lot of kilometers, Gary. Yeah. Yeah. And we can say that they're athletes and all this sort of stuff, but they don't normally do that. So they're not used to it. The body will be out of sync. But also, I just find it a little bit fair, even though we agreed. So the club agreed to it. But just comparing to like the Dogs who played 7 of 8 games in Sydney and Brisbane have played a whole bunch. It's just an added kind of thing. But they got the job done. Congratulations to them. That's awesome. Lewis says, I think defending broken play tonight. Still seem disjointed at times when attacking. What's that about? Yeah, we're not sure about that. What's that space? Excuse me. Garth says Ronaldo almost try was an NBA dunk level. Jardine, as the NBA guy, do you want to talk about that?
It was pretty impressive. I was very devastated when I saw that ball pop out at the end because I know that would be running on highlight reels all year.
They can still use it.
Yeah, I'll allow it. I did put it to my very AFL loving Swans buddy and just said to him, "How does this rank in the Specky category?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's legit.
Yes.
Like it'd carry weight amongst the AFL people, that highlight. So close, so close."
Jardine, you were the person that broke it to us years ago, and you said this. You said, when Blake goes next level, the Sharks will do their thing. And NS says, how good was Brails tonight? The running man. He was fantastic. Yeah, he was running all over that island of his. And it was evident from the start. Like, he was great. He was terrific. And one of his better games, I think, particularly in a long time. Credited with 5 runs for 40 meters, a lot of line engagements as well. We don't get the meters, but only made about 30 tackles too. So he wasn't sort of so tired he couldn't run. So there's a good kind of reason why he could run some more as well. So great to see Blake out there running so much. Josh, what did you make of Tall Tom starting?
I was going to ask you boys what you thought about that and what the decision was there, and also bringing in Jesse over Dan. Like, I wonder what the thought process was behind that. But just to answer your question, I thought he was bloody outstanding. I thought I really see that. 2 years ago, I was like, I don't know if this guy is even a first grader, let alone a starting prop. And it just seems like every week he's going from strength to strength, and he's punching out over 100 meters every game, and he's threatening with the ball. He's got a bit of skill. He's a great defender. Like, doesn't really miss tackles. Like, just he's becoming a real all-round like NRL front rower, and I'm really pleased to have been proven wrong, because 2 years ago I was like, man, this guy's not it, and he's it now.
Gary, what did you make, mate? Tom.
Sorry, I had to unmute the chat there. But yeah, as I said at the top of the show, Shanaz, I thought it was really good that he started, because he's just a different body shape to Adden. And, you know, when you got Oggie and Adden out there, they're kind of similar in size and shape. And Tom's a little bit awkward to tackle sometimes with his obvious height. And I thought it worked really well. As Josh said, over 100 meters, something like 20-something tackles. He didn't miss one. So I think he's grown into that role. And I like him starting. I do.
Mm.
You're going to jump in and say something before we started the Tom talk?
I was just going to say on the Brails talk at the end of that thing, one thing I've really noticed that I quite like is that even in his body language, he seems more assertive.
Yeah.
Behind play. Like, you can see him clapping blokes. Like, he's really trying to move that tempo. I didn't think he was like that earlier on, and now he's actually starting to kind of do those little Mick Ennis type things and Robbie Farah type things where he's controlling the speed of the play without actually, doing much there. That's all I'm going to say about that one. And on the topic, I totally agree with both Josh and Gaz. Like, I think having that different type of body and having that different profile causes a bit of chaos for the defensive line there. I quite like it.
Absolutely. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens with the weeks moving forward and to see if we can find out why he went that way. And it might have been a let's play Parramatta. I mean, in that way, we saw Jack Williams, who had a good game for them, but he certainly didn't dominate us at any point. And maybe he thought bigger forward over a smaller prop like Jack. We jumped over to the Instagram saying hello to everyone on there. Hello, everyone on there, including Ty, Drew, Great Archie's on there, Jacqueline, Smitty. There's a whole lot of people. Hello, everyone. And Color Spot says, great game from the spine tonight. Hello to everyone on there. Finn3 says, brave performance, short turnaround against a fresh team, down a player, impressive. Yeah, absolutely. Great points. Jacqueline says, has Brayley had a little chat with Laurie? And I think she means something to do with State of Origin, which is pretty cool. I reckon he's on the standby list, Jacqueline, personally. What do you guys think? Let's go around the room. What do you guys think about Brayley to play Origin or in the squad or something?
He's been in the extended squad the last couple of years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Like, he's obviously, over the last couple of years, earned that spot in an extended squad for New South Wales. And, he wouldn't be out of place for me in that side.
Joshy?
I think he's, if Robson was to be ruled out, I think he's probably the next guy. I think as good as Api Coruscant is, he's 33, 34 now. He's probably at the back end. Do you want to go back to someone like that who's only going to be around for maybe one more year? I think Brayley's the next guy. He's at the right age. He's got the right amount of games and experience, and he's starting to take that game to the next level. I think he definitely plays Origin before he retires.
Jardine, you called it a while ago. Are you seeing it happening in front of your eyes?
I actually thought the window was a little bit more open at the end of the Cook era than it is now. I actually think Robson's done an amazing job for the Blues, but totally agree with boys. He's got to be the next person in. If anything was to happen to Robson, I know he's already been in camp a couple of times. He's got to be that guy, and I think he'd be pretty good at it too. He was so close there, just touch and go. It had to be a styles thing to get Robson over, but they're both great, and I think if he gets his chance, he'll step up.
Tony says, great win, very powerful through the middle tonight. It was Nico's best game of the year. Noticeable how we struggle to defend the offload. They look a bit shocked and frantic trying to defend. Onwards to another side after. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Thank you very much, Tony. Appreciate that. Bronwyn says, I agree with the offloads. Got to try and contain them. Good to see Eero back. And what a hit from Ronnie. Finn3 says, Blake was amazing. Hello to everyone else on there. We'll come back to the Insta. Now, on the screen, Jesse says, that was much better than last week. I don't think I've put this one up yet. Fitz says, solid defensive effort given the short turnaround. Nicky needs to fix that right side goal kicking thing. Well, let's go straight to Jardine here on the goal kicking, who once said that Nico Hines should never kick a goal for the Sharks ever again. Jardine, how do you feel about his goal kicking at the moment? And to be fair, you didn't actually say that.
I think it might have been an early version, and I was totally wrong about it. And I think it's just a little few extras in the training ground, and we're on our way. Yeah, I think it's just nothing big.
All right, let's ask Jardine on his thoughts on Jesse Colquhoun, because he was fantastic tonight. Nathan says, apart from a brain explosion with the sin bin, he played well. He looks like a footballer. Boy, oh boy, does he what? What do you think, Jards?
Is he put on extra muscle or something like that? He felt like the last time I saw him, he was Bruce Banner, and saw him tonight, he was the Incredible Hulk. It was I thought he was great. Brain explosion, granted, it was terrible. My son was watching it there with me. He's in his early teens, and his comment when that happened was why would you do that? So he gets it. And brain explosion aside, I thought he was really strong out there, and I'd find it hard for him not to be in the squad. actually moving forward based on that.
Yeah, I mean it's early days with the comeback, but everything he did tonight, aside from that moment, was awesome. Gary, must be good for you to see one of your colleagues getting back from an injury like that and having a great comeback game.
Yeah, obviously a lower leg injury, so he spent a lot of time bulking up the upper half of his body, and he's definitely put on a bit of size. So it's good when he goes out there and he's still got the speed and the legs and the footwork there. And yeah, I can't wait to see him rip into the back half of the season.
Josh, you're a huge Colquhoun man.
I think I'm
Tell us
driving
what
the Colquhoun bus. I was just
he's
so
got a
happy
bus.
for him. Yeah, he's got a bus and I'm driving it without a license.
Okay. I love how SharkCast just hand out real estate to our players. It's great.
They deserve
There's
it.
buses, there's islands. What's Will got? Will's got a boat.
A cruise liner.
Cruise liner, yeah.
I was just so stoked to see him like run out when I saw him come out and get his first run and get it away, and really strong defensively, and like just looked hard to handle when he ran the ball. Like he was running with so much determination. I was saying it to one of my friends that I think what we've kind of lacked maybe in the last 18 months is picking guys with a lot to prove. And that's why I was kind of really wanting to pick like a Herhepa or get Jesse back in, because they have nothing but things to prove and how good of footballers they can be. And not saying that the guys in there have done a bad job. We've been making the top 4, but just having that injection of youth and someone willing to just bust the gut and just do everything they can to try and get back in this side. I think we've missed that a little bit. And I thought we got that injection with Jesse, and I hope he stays in the team. I think it could work really well. And I think he takes the 13 for Cam once Cam decides to retire.
We have a very special guest coming in here. My screen's kind of weird and I can't see people hanging on. I hope he hasn't been there for too long. Let's bring in the Merch King, friend to the show, Mr. Adam Barnes. How you going, man?
Howdy. Can you hear me, guys?
We got you. Let's talk us through your background there for the people who are listening and not watching. What do you got? Is that footy stuff?
Yeah, it is. It's all Shark stuff. So it's my little man cave. So, yeah, bits of memorabilia on the wall and Premier's jersey over there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Barnes 11 from my previous 11 years here at the Sharks, and got some other stuff around. But, yeah, I've escaped the kids are upstairs on the VR. So
on the VR, ooh,
can I quickly make one? Make one point?
You don't have to be quick. You can be as long as you like.
Right. I wouldn't be taking any goal kicking advice from Jardian. I've seen Jardian's goal kicking firsthand. When we used to do our own goal kicking practice out on Shark Park before work.
Yes.
He's the last person you should be taking goal kicking advice from. So
Paul Barnesy, Paul Barnesy, we would line these kicks up. He'd obviously get all the way to the sideline. They'd be straight as an arrow. They'd be beautiful. And then he'd like get the ball for me, and my kicks are just spraying left and right. I'm actually making this guy work to go get my ball there. Like, it's the basketball equivalent of like getting getting rebounds from Shaq on the free throw line. It was terrible.
It was a bit of fitness always retrieving your balls. Also, if Josh is on the Colquhoun driving the bus, I sold him that bus. I've been on the Colquhoun bandwagon for a long time.
So tell us what you thought of him tonight.
Well, he went to school with my my nephew, so got a bit of a soft spot for Jesse. I think it was good in the minimal stint that he had. Obviously, the sin bin wasn't great, but no, I think the sky's the limit for this kid. I agree with Josh. I think he's a future 13. I think he's a bit of a clone of Pat Garrigan. So, I'm excited to see what his career looks like. Hopefully he remains injury free.
We just want to point out that Juz was talking about the whole running, and we'll get to Britt a little bit later, but I mean, it was unbelievable. But we do have a message here for Barnesy, which Barnesy's already applied to it. So he knows about this.
Yes.
Adam said you need to bring back the old long coach's jacket. So for those who don't know, who are listening or watching, Adam is the head of merch at Cronulla Sharks and has been for a long time in a couple of stints. He's had his own SharkCast episode, so go find that. You can get the history of Barnes, which is awesome. But what caught my eye this week, Barnesy, and we're not going to be talking about merch for the next hour, so listeners don't
Please
freak
don't.
out.
It's Friday night, mate. I've had
No, I
take all week, so no merch, please.
I got to ask you about the new retro jacket that I saw with the Pepsi and the logo. Tell us about that.
I reckon that's arriving Monday or Tuesday next week. So we've got quite a few coming. It's from a company called Tidwell that do all the other retro jerseys, the Aussie Ducks, the Pepsi jersey. They've done that style of jacket for all clubs, and we've got our own coming. So yeah, stay tuned.
And what era would you? Is that late 90s? Like what era is that?
Yeah, it's modelled off a kind of a team track jacket. It's not purely modelled on it, but it's I guess a concept of it. It's around that kind of Pepsi era, really. So what's that? Sort of mid to late 90s.
99, 2000 ish.
Yeah, around then. So it's a pretty cool looking jacket. I'm sure Gaz will be knocking on my door to get one of those for sure.
I'll see you in store next week, Barnesy. See you in store next week.
Hey, I was down there at the Bulldogs game, and I saw those Pepsi jerseys everywhere. They just like flying off.
Yeah, we sold out of our first drop. We've got some more coming, and we've probably got another really exciting retro jersey release dropping around Father's Day. So stay tuned for that.
Ooh. Okay.
Gonna send me broke.
I think Jardian would really like it.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing to me?
Yeah.
Now,
Barnesy, tell us about the game tonight, Barnesy. Aside from Colquhoun, what did you like? What impressed you?
I think our online D was really good. I don't think they probably threw much at us. I think they definitely broke us down off offloads. But online, I was super confident they'd turn us away, or we'd turn them away. Sorry. So D, I thought early Brayley was really good, scared me out of dummy half. So I really enjoyed that. AFB just does AFB stuff. I was pretty happy to see BHU back. I thought he added some real good punch. We probably lacked to have a lot of the ball when he was on, but when he did run, he made some really good impacts. It was unreal to have KL back. Mar's been massive for us, but I think KL is just the next level up, and it kind of, I think, just that edge gets a bit more out of KL being there. So, look, I was pretty happy. I must say I was pretty nervous. I was very nervous last week. I didn't really have the greatest feeling about that game.
Right.
I've got a lot of family members that are para supporters, so I was itching to get this one done tonight. So, I think, good effort, lot to work on. Nico was great. 3 try assists. I think Tricky had his moments. He's still probably got a little bit of improvement left in him. But overall, take the 2 points off a short turnaround and move on. I'm a bit worried about Will. I think he looked a bit dodgy on that ankle. So hopefully he can get up longer turnaround into the Manly game. So
it's positive that he finished the game. So we'll find out more in the coming days. But for everyone's sake, I hope that he's good to go against Manly. And Barnesy, what do you think is going to happen rest of the season? Where do you see us finishing? Like non-biased, non-employee. Give us what's the real deal? Are we top 4 bound?
Oh, I think we've probably dropped a few games. I think to start with, that's not to say that we can't. I think and Gaz probably sees it and probably agrees with me. It's just the start of the year. Like the scheduling hasn't really been on our side, so I feel like we're kind of trying to get to bye week and then really reset from there, because we've got a block of like month by month and really build into the back end. Look, at our best, we're a top 4 team, no doubt. I think there's some teams that are kind of overachieving. I think the Warriors, if they're a top 4, then we're a top 2 team. Same with the Raiders. We should have done them. So if you look at those 2 teams, we should take their spot. So, and Penrith being down the bottom is definitely going to help. I don't think they're going to make a run. So, yes, top 4. I'd be disappointed if we're not top 4, but look, as long as we're playing the finals and this is probably the most open the competition's been in a while. So who's to say a team out of the top 4 can't win?
Danny says Nico was on fire tonight. Trindle struggled again. I thought he was better than last week, Trindle. There were moments that I really liked. Still a way to go, as Barnesy said. This is a bit of a controversial take, which is fine. Billy Burns played better the last couple of weeks than Wilton has all year. I think that's had harsh from my perspective, but respect Danny's opinion. But Billy Burns is certainly a very, very solid player. And the more he plays in first grade, the more he looks like one, I think. Where else can we go?
I think Wilton has the edge on defense. I think his defense a couple of weeks ago before he got injured was outstanding. So Billy's done a job. Don't get me wrong. He's probably exceeded my expectations of him, I reckon. But he's not Teague. No way.
Ghastly says, what was Brayley's run meters? I've got him at 40, but if you want to add some more for line engagements and sort of half runs, it would be more than that. But he certainly, was engaging the line a lot tonight. I loved what he was doing. I don't know what this means from Steve. Is that Mona Lisa with a baseball bat? What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means?
Can't help you.
No clue.
Nope.
Steve, but you'll have to explain that one to us. Darby says, Dirty Moses having a go at Tricky's hairline. How dare he? Tricky gave him a solid spray if you can read lips. So he definitely gave him a spray, and I saw the words being mouthed of I can just say the word. He was calling him a pussy, I thought, is what he said, because I thought he was insinuating that he was staying down, it was a penalty, but making it look worse than what it was. The hairline, I don't really want to comment on, but maybe it was. I mean, maybe Darby knows more than we do. Adam says, Adden and Confucia 2 likes to swap them and Tom and another forward. Ghastly 10 says, is anyone watching the Roosters try now? That was insane scramble. So I'm not watching it, but we'll get to that.
I've got it on.
Yeah.
Going nuts. Pretty good game. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to give us a score update?
Got a good try. It's 14-4. Hammer just stole it out of Teddy's hands off a bomb and just scored next to the post. Kick to come.
Now there's a lot of comments here. I don't know what they mean, to be honest.
Well, we just got a Clinton update. We got a just finished.
Yeah, you want to read that out?
Just finished watching on delay. Thank F.
Oh boy. Clinton Maynard does it really tough. Former colleague of yours, Barnesy, back in the day, I would imagine. Clinton Maynard in the radio box, in the ground announcer box.
Yeah, Clinton obviously wrote the Premier's book, so I know we were selling some of those on behalf. So I've met Clinton before for sure.
Adam says, what email do I send my idea that I told you in Perth, Barnesy? That's for you, I think. So if you want to send it to me, I'll pass it on to him. Maybe that's the easiest way. SharkCastpod@gmail.com. Nathan says you really had
Sharks will do. Yep.
Shop at Sharks. There you go. Nathan says you really had
I'll pass it on.
Okay. You really had a great game. Absolutely. Now, Paul says this. Paul says Brayley got more space because of Tom and AFB starting, and that's hard to disagree with. Gary, what do you reckon about that one?
Yeah, I reckon that's pretty up to par. I think Tom's really good at hitting the line and then making a few extra meters, and it kind of puts the defender on the back foot so he can get up a bit quicker and play the ball. And obviously we know what Adam does. He plays it in 0.01 seconds anyway. So I think, off the back of those two guys, Braille's obviously had a bit more space to scoop it up and have a few more runs, which was nice to see.
MJ Gonzalez says Josh Bolling is my hero. So that's cool. He's my hero too. Hello to Kieran, who's on the line. Jardin's left us. He's gone back to watch tape on Nico Hines and how excellent he was. So he sends his love to everyone. Thanks for jumping on, Jard. That was kind of fun.
I'm going to bail as well right now, guys. I'm so sorry.
You're out.
I'm going to go sort the kids out.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks for being had.
See you guys.
All right. Goodbye, Dover household. Bye, Bonnie. So if you're listening and not watching this, all the Dover children have appeared. There he goes. All right. Now it's just the real fans, Barnesy and Josh Bolling. I was going to put up this for everyone. I need an assistant, Barnesy. If people want to jump on, they can jump on via the StreamYard link. It's in some of the comment sections. Feel free. You don't have to have your camera if you don't want to, but if you're feeling brave, feel free. Boys, Will Kennedy, let's talk about him. One of my favorite subjects. 16 runs, 130 meters, 2 tackle busts, 2 try assists, 1 line break assist. I think possibly a try save in there as well. Josh continues to just play very, very good football. Potentially not lights out today, but very, very good.
Yeah, the stats probably read better than last week, as good as he was last week. But I thought he was just safe as a house at the back, creating space for his men. The cutout ball was like pinpoint perfect. If you watch that slow-mo replay, you see it whiz past Jesse's shoulder, like perfectly, like cuts him in half onto Sam's chest, like playing injured, playing busted, bodies everywhere. Like he's just, we've run out of things to say about him, I think.
Barnesy, what's your take on 2025 Will Kennedy?
Oh, it's definitely what he needed. I definitely think at the start of the year he was probably fighting for a spot. I'm a big Will fan, so it's great to see them kind of hit his straps. I think that little rubber kick that he did catch and drop on his foot for Stoney's trial was absolute class. So
yeah.
I think he's just getting better and better just because he's believing in himself more. So I think the coaching staff and the players around him have always seen it. He's just now delivering on his potential. So, I think there's, obviously I don't know what's happening contract wise. I'm not privy to those discussions, but I would be surprised if we don't renew him for sure.
Yes, I would be surprised too at this point. It's a great point you make about that try that he set up. And Cooper Cronk, who I'm very biased because he's my colleague and also I just love him, he pointed it out. Just to get that ball, kind of do a half run, kick it perfectly, and then Stone Street with a really good put down as well. That was a moment where I kind of went, he's really having a good year. Like that was just pinpoint. Absolutely pinpoint, Josh.
Yeah, and I think what's great about it is that if he passed it, it's like Stoney gets knocked into touch. Like he had to kick it and it had to be perfect. And like I said, a really good put down from Stone Street because he had pressure from the inside coming at his hands too, like trying to swipe the ball away. That's just the natural instinct stuff. Like he's just got, and that's where we get, in the dangerous territory of saying the Peachy-esque stuff of there's not a lot of that natural instinct guys around that can pull that off and make it look so easy because that is not easy to do. Like under pressure, under fatigue, with guys coming at you wanting to bash you. It's just that was my favorite try of the night.
I agree.
And there was some great tries there as well. Dave has written into us saying they had one 30-minute training session this week. So he's just confirming that wasn't Fitzy being a smart aleck at the start of the game. So I mean, again, I don't think we should have to really put up with that, but that's just how it was. They're coming away with the win, so that's fantastic. Josh, how do you feel now about the team after that performance? How do you... Bunty's having a go at his kids. How do you feel about... No, you're right. You're right. How do you feel about the team right now, Josh? Like, looking forward, like you're still pretty hopeful of top 4?
Yeah. I haven't really ever lost faith in like we're definitely playing finals. I still think top 4 is very much on the cards. It's like Barnesy said before. Like, there's a couple of teams there that always have a good start to the year and then drop away. Like the Canberra are always in the top 4 in the first 10 weeks and then fade away. Same the Warriors, Manly, and the Cowboys don't really worry me in terms of putting together 5-10 week blocks of good footy. So it's maybe not a little harsh to say I don't think we will be lights out all year, but a lot of the teams will fall apart around us, I think, at times. And we've got a pretty tough run coming with Manly, Melbourne, Roosters, and so on. But I think we got to get that back end of the year in good enough shape, and I think we'll come home pretty strong with not as much travel, some home games bulked up. That's there for us if we want it. If we're good enough, we'll finish in the top 4.
I think it's one of those years where, like, there are clear-cut better teams than others, but you still have to be on. Like, if we weren't on today, Para would have won. Like, Para did enough to sort of be in the fight. So I think there's not a lot of easy games this year. I don't think. Like you could pick out, the Titans or someone, but then they could score 40 points in the flip of a coin. So I think it's just a week by week process, and I'm happy to get the win today. Move on to Manly. Like, yeah, we're thinking about Melbourne. As Barnesy said, we're thinking about the bye too. Like, I think that will be the best thing for this club. Like, if they can jag 2 more wins, I think, despite the losses that should have been wins, obviously the Raiders game in particular, I think it's a successful start given the crazy schedule that we've had. Ghastly said, who's next man up for Will? With both of our fullbacks out. So it'll be Dan Atkinson, I think, fellas. Do you agree with that? Barnesy, do you think is Dan the next fullback up, given Marwini's out and given the 2 young guys are out?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the only thing that would scare me with Dan playing would be how he'd go under the high ball. Like, obviously, Will's safe as houses. So I don't think we would miss anything with a running game and a passing game. It would be definitely under the high ball. Obviously, both Dicey and Ison going down and then Ma being injured. Yeah, it probably lends itself to Dan. I don't even think we've got another winger that we could probably push out there to play on wing and move a Ronnie or even a KL back there. So yeah, it probably is Dan.
Another boy said, just started watching, agreed that we didn't need a blowout. So Nella boy, if you want to go back and watch this later on, it'll be on YouTube, the full thing, and it'll be on like all of our socials, and we'll have a audio podcast for you as well later on. Ghastly says, Will Kennedy should have his own subject in Australian schools. So this momentum of Will's is really growing, and I absolutely am here for it.
Sam, I know what Will does have now. He has his own bobblehead, which has just hit the shop. So sorry,
nice work,
merchandise plug.
Nice
but
work.
He has his own bobblehead. So jump on
now
online and get one.
Now let's talk about that. That's been in the works for a while. That's been out for a little while, if I'm correct in saying.
Yes.
Don't
get me started.
Sure. How do you, like, simply put, how do you choose who gets a bobblehead?
Probably just gut feel, to be honest. It definitely comes down. It's not just to, just a good player or someone we like within the squad. They've got to have some, some features about them that would actually work in that sort of product.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, Nico, we had the hair right. We had Ronnie with the big smile. We've obviously got a Toby Rudolph one out as well. So his face kind of lends it to that. And Will, with that kind of, baldy head and a kind of little slight sort of figure, I think it kind of works. Just trying something different, right? So you'd like to think we'd probably cycle through the vast majority of kind of the squad over the next sort of 3 or 4 years, but
well, you've
really
timed
much
it.
Science to it. Yeah,
you've timed it beautifully.
Well, I would say I was a little nervous in my selections 6 months ago. So
what's going to be great is the reissue when he has the Dally M medal around his neck. That'll be the reissue of it.
It would be very cool, wouldn't it? Does he get points out of tonight?
I think he might get one. I think Blake's probably the guy who impressed me the most, and Nico I thought was really good with his try assist. But I mean, Will had 2 try assists of his own, which I hadn't thought about. So he might get at least a point. Sometimes in these things,
point or two.
They're because he's leading the comp. They'll be like, oh, look at Will Kennedy. He went all right. I'll give him 1 or 2. I don't know if he'll get 3, but yeah, I think he'll get something. The other thing about Will Kennedy is he's very popular with the kids, Barnesy.
Yeah.
So
good
choice there.
That type of product definitely lends it to someone that has a bit more of a flashy game style or whatever, and features. Looking forward, who do I do next? I wouldn't mind trying to do a Tommy, old nude nut, tall bobblehead will sell all right, I think. So we'll see there.
All right. Now, Josh Bolling, you happy with that bench? So the bench was Kafusi, Talakai, Hamlin-Uele, and Colquhoun. What are you doing to that bench? Saying they're all fit. What would you do? How you feeling about the bench? Josh is out. Some tech issues. He warned me about that. Barnesy, it's you and me, just like we'd planned all along. The merch show on SharkCast.
Yeah. A bench.
Kafusi, Talakai, Hamlin-Uele, and Jesse Colquhoun. Like there's other guys to come back. I liked it. I liked starting with Tom as well. Like,
I think there was a definite game plan to go straight through them, and that was pretty evident with a lot of foot speed through the middle. I think that's probably why they went Tommy to start, bit quicker off the ground, across the ground, I should say, than Oregon is. Yeah, I think that's a bench that could take us through. I think if Talakai doesn't knock himself out in the space of 2 minutes, I think we really roll through them, and it probably doesn't get as close. I think it's probably Jesse or Toby. I think is probably that fourth man. I think Toby was starting to play some really good footy before he got injured. I guess you probably have a little bit more flexibility there with Jesse because he can play on an edge, where Toby's pretty much straight up. But I mean, you've got Sipper there that can do that. So, look, it's been shown over the last couple of years that they're never all fit at the same time. So, I'm very happy with the rotation. So, and you still got Tooks there. So, like, if you're to lose another prop, you bring Tooks in. So, there's plenty of depth there. Yeah.
Handman says, hot take, but with Colquhoun back, do we need Kafusi in the side? I think we do. I think he's just a great sized body and he's a worker. And I'm happy for Kafusi to be in the 17 most weeks. I don't think it's a disaster for him. I just think it's a different role for both him and Tom. And as you said, Barnesy, maybe it was just a choice of we can get through Paris pack. I mean, Junior Paolo's a huge human, but he's not the tallest human in the world. And, Jack Williams, it's a fairly shorter kind of pack looking at it on paper, at least. So maybe it was just that idea of get our big guys out there and go nuts. Adam says Kennedy cemented his extension. I think we all agree with that. NS is not happy with the cliche of next man up, which is fair enough. Whatever, that's fine. Thanks for letting us know. I don't hate the notion. I understand that it's used a lot, but I don't mind it.
Is it next person? Are we doing political?
Oh no, I don't think it's that.
From, or?
I don't think so. I think he's talking about the cliche of it, I guess. Gotcha. Tom's one will be a foot tall. So yeah, if you get a Tom figurine bobblehead, it's going to have to be accurate to size. That's a great point from Adam. From one Adam to another. They
do make the bigger ones. The AFL do them, so there might be something coming next year, possibly. Work in progress.
MJ says, Sam, I love how you're a good person first and a shark a tragic second. I think the jury's out on that one, my friend, but appreciate the kind words. Hello to everyone else on the Insta and all over the internet, the YouTube and the Facebook. Appreciate everyone being around. Sharks win 28-18. We've been joined by a lot of people tonight, which is awesome, both on screen and off. Barnesy, we didn't have anyone up at the game because it's an NRL event. Is that right, as far as the merch goes?
Yeah, that's correct. So I guess it's like an Origin or a grand final. NRL take ownership of merch. So tried many times to get our own presence up there, but no, unfortunately, that's that can't be done. But we do it when we can. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. Ghastly wants a Stone Street bobblehead. I think that could be in the works. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, here's one for you, boys.
Yeah, the mullet.
It's one. Yeah, it's one that Josh and I talk about on a weekly basis. Let's go straight to Barnesy. Stone Street or Katoa, round 15. What are you doing?
Round 16 or 17. I'm bringing Sione back.
Yeah,
I don't think you bring him straight back. I'm a massive fan of Sione. So as a player,
he's back as
a person. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do when it's contract time? Are you looking to the future or happy with where you're at?
When's Sione off contract?
Well, I think Sam's off. I
know.
don't know about Sione, but
Yeah, Sam's off. I guess there's a lot of pieces there. Like, what do you do with Ma as well? So, yeah, there's probably more upside in 2 to 3 years' time with Sam. But if I'm wanting to win a comp in the next, this year and next year, I'm going Sione.
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one.
I think his body of work is a little bit more extent. I think he offers a lot more out of the backfield as well.
Yeah,
he is a smaller body, but he can find gaps in defence, or he can put his body in between other guys. Where I think Sam at the moment's kind of running dead on into somebody, but he's still young. What is he? 10 games in, so.
Oh, he's doing great. Yeah, so you're going to have a few errors in his game, but like I thought tonight there was a defensive read where he got it pretty good. Towards the end down there, and it was once they were back to 13-13. So there's some positives there for me. I think it's I also would bring Sione back, but I think as far as the future and the three of them, I mean, Ronnie signed on for a few more years, so he's locked in and he's amazing. So it's a good problem to have. Chris says, glad we didn't score on that stupid tackled in the air call on Ronnie. Would have felt like we didn't deserve the win. The boys played well. What do you make of that? What does that mean? Someone explain that to me.
I think he's suggesting that it would have been like a little unfair if that was given as a penalty try or something because of
penalty try.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
That's
fair.
Yeah, I agree. But I would have seen it as a bit of a square up because I think Sipper got the ball
stripped.
Then he knocked himself out.
Yes, he did, Barnes. You see everything. That is correct.
Yeah. Was there a penalty after that and they scored? So
yeah.
And I think there was something else that happened in the first half. I was a bit like, oh, that's not right. And then they scored. It was a penalty. Oh, their high shot out of the backfield.
That was not high.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. So there's two tries from Paul referee's decision. I would have thought it would have been 2-1 at the end if that had been given a try.
Yeah.
Better team won.
My immediate thought, and I'm not alone, was when they didn't give Siffer that penalty, I was like, oh, well, it was okay last week. But it's all Tom Hazelton.
Yeah,
but,
literally.
This one probably looks a bit worse. But I mean, imagine if he put it down.
Not talking. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, if he puts it down, we're talking about it. If it's a penalty try, then that's all we're talking about. It gets glossed over that we were the better team. It's just the bunker. So I'm happy that he can give it, but
Did you see the controversy of the Eero try? Apparently, he dropped it, and there's a video going around from the back, and it looks pretty incriminating that he
I know.
Kronk was try?
Nah, the Eero one when he ran around and plopped it down one hand. I think he might have dropped it.
Kronk said something in the commentary, and he was sort of biting his lip, and they were like, "What did you see?" And he goes, "No, I'm not sure," or there might be something there. And then it came up confirmed. They just moved on. I mean, what else can you do? There's like 30 cameras that they're looking at, 30 screens. Hopefully they got it right. I mean, maybe it was close. And those stills, Josh, like those stills online, like they can be not completely accurate, particularly because they're getting off the TV screen.
His head bounced off, and
it was one of those Gary Dover ones where it's like the photos when it's like snaps like 100 in 1 second, and it was him moving in, and it didn't look great. But I mean, I don't care. I'll take any win anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Adam says it's a try.
Yeah. They will. The young blokes coming through will push Katoa and Sam. So he's happy with the young guys coming through. And there is a bunch of young guys all over the park who are looking amazing in the lower grades. Ghastly says, start of the year I was going to say Sione for now and Sam in the next 2 to 3, but now I'm starting it could be sooner. They could do what they did with KL and build him into it. So, yeah, I mean, do you guys think that clubs are chasing Stone Street in all respect? Like, do you think they are? I don't really know. Like, I don't have an opinion on it. But do you think they would be chasing him?
Someone out there would probably
possibly.
Take him.
I guess it's dependent on what we're going to pay him. I don't think a club out there is going to pay an extra 150 to 200. So he's probably better off staying at a club that he grew up wanting to play for. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
because if he can bide his time, maybe Sione, I don't know, maybe he's moved on in a year or two and Stones straight back in. I don't know. But I mean,
I guess
there's a comment.
It's going to be hard for
ahead.
him because I think it's going to be hard for him because he's getting an extended run. So
yes,
he's probably proven to himself more than anybody that he's belongs at this level.
Yeah.
After playing a stretch of 15 games, would he want to sit behind those guys for another 12 months? I know I probably wouldn't. So that might be. Yeah,
I think Barnesy, if it's 12 months, it's maybe doable. If it's longer, I'm not sure how one would think about that. 12 months, you can kind of go, oh, I grew up with this club. I love it. I love the guys, love the coach, whatever. I can be, I'll play 5-10 games because one of them will be injured. One of each will be injured, whatever. But if it's longer than that, you have to sort of consider your own future.
You look at the reward that Trindle got from being patient. I know halves are different to wingers and stuff, but you look at that, he showed patience. He easily could have left a couple of times, and he kept signing on, and now he's reaping the rewards with a big bumper contract, playing first grade every week in a top 4 side. Like, the grass isn't always greener to just go and get a shot. If he goes to get a shot at Para or the Tigers or someone like that, you're going to play every week, but at what cost to your career potentially? So I think if he wants to be a long-term successful guy, sometimes just biding your time and being patient, you'll get the rewards later on. He's still only 22. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, so Hamman said Sione's last game was the Penrith prelim and he was our best player. And so it's a very good point. Very, very good point.
And he's probably got the most acrobatic finish of any winger in the comp, I reckon. He could do stuff that others can't. So,
and like you said, the meters he gives us out of the outer end and the bumps and, the offloads, like he's just got a bit more variety to his game than Sam does at the moment. But then Sam has the height and the pace. So it just depends how you want to play, I think.
And it's a good point, Ghastly 10 points out. There's two to three more teams coming in, and maybe it won't be Perth. Maybe one of them chases Sione for more money and a long contract, and we go, well, we were going to keep you for 2. They've offered you 3. Like, they might just do some jiggling there. I'm not kicking Sione out myself. I'm just saying different options. But yes, Ghastly is also right. Like, another club might pick him up. NS says on the KL thing, if you're showing it in 4K, you'll find separation at some point in the try. So that's interesting. We'll watch this space. But you know what, NS? The NRL owes us one from last week anyway. They've officially said they owe us one. So,
exactly.
And we did win. And we were 10 points. So,
I'd finally got over that game until I read that this morning. I'm like, oh, please.
What about that? What about that? Ridiculous.
Just don't say anything. We might have asked the question and they've probably responded. I would say that we picked something up and asked the question. But I don't think it needs to be in the paper. I just think
just hurts more.
And of course, I went and looked at it and I sent it to Josh and I was like, check this out. And the guy is like standing next to him playing the ball. I'll give you a positive from tonight. 88% completion. Oh, sorry, guys. My computer's wigging out. 88% completion rate from the Sharks. What do you reckon about that?
It's like we always say, when we complete high 80s, we tend to win. When we hold on the ball, we're so hard to repel when we attack the line. Every time we got down there, we looked pretty good. Like, there was a bit of clunky moments, but we felt we're going to score here. Like, I always felt we were really close to get to breaking them every time.
Yeah, I mean, I love a high completion rate, Barnesy. Like 88%, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like it too. I think sometimes the way we play, there's going to be an errant pass somewhere, or someone's going to drop it. I can live with a 75% completion or a 70% if those incomplete sets are down the opposite end. If we're doing rubbish stuff out of our own end and that contributes to that low completion, then it's a different story. So I think 80 is a base, and then we'll go from there.
So looking at the halves tonight, and I'll just click on a few buttons here. So Trindle kicked 18 times compared to Nico's 4. And as you can imagine, he kicked 600 meters compared to 100, including a 40-20. So whilst Trindle's game is not where it needs to be at, it was better than last week and the last few weeks. And the involvement there with the kicking especially, I think is a good sign. Where do you see Trindle at the moment, boys?
Well, I think you just got to remember as well that 40-20 came at a really important time when we were down a man, trying to get out of our own. I think it was like third tackle and just nails it. And I think we go down. If we don't score, we chewed time, that Jesse bin time. So and he nearly had another one. He was a couple of centimeters away from another one on that short side too. It was a ridiculous kick. Yeah. So look, the pieces are still there for both of them. It's just a matter of if they can click in consecutive weeks and put it together, like they're gonna be hard to stop.
I think his kicking game was amazing tonight, especially when he's a rightful kicker coming off the left. Like you can get blindsided because he's trying to kick out on that angle. But a bit clunky in a bit in attack, but he's kicking at the back end of that second half and giving Ronnie contested ball was outstanding. I think that's probably the game plan. I think Tricky does 3/4 of our kicking, and Nico kicks if the ball ends up on his side.
It was interesting listening to guys like Sean Johnson and Cooper Cronk talk about our halves. And I think they're a lot more sympathetic, both because they are two of the great halves that they've ever played, but also they see the big picture that a bunch of us don't. And I think it was Sean said, when they click, as Josh said, it's going to be fantastic. Now, they have to get there. It's all very well us saying when. They have to do it and do it consistently. But it sounds like from experts in the game, when it clicks, and if it clicks for a while, it's going to be pretty successful and pretty, reap the rewards, hopefully. But it was just interesting to hear that. And then towards the end of the game, you're waiting for them just to get that final nail in the coffin. And they did, but it took a while. But that's when all the doubt comes out in the fans and in probably even the other experts who don't really have that halfback kind of mind. But the halfbacks who played the game, they're pretty high on our guys. And that gives me more faith in what they're doing.
Go, Josh.
No, you're right. You're right, Bundy.
I agree. I do sometimes feel like, especially that type of analysis, especially from those halfbacks of note, they're comparing their best football. So like a Cooper Cronk, right? His best was outstanding, right? Origin, Australia, winning premierships. But then you're talking about someone like Tricky or even Nico to an extent that haven't even played 100 games at halfback. Like they're not at that stage of their development yet. They should get to somewhere near there. But sometimes maybe you're a little harsh. They're not all not every halfback's an Australian halfback and going to play to their best every game. So, but it's great. It's great if that feedback sometimes get back to the players. Like if someone like a Cooper Cronk saying that, then you would like to think that our coaching staff would be seeing it as well and giving feedback to our guys. I think sometimes it's a bit like, they're not at your level. Don't expect them to be. So
that's a good point, Barnesy.
They've got improvement, no doubt, but they're at a level where they're at now. They're not fully developed as you look at Cherry Evans. He's a 36-year-old halfback. At the top of his game, give Nico Hines another 10 years of playing halfback. Does he get to that level? He probably gets close. So
he'll also be the oldest halfback to ever play the game if he has 10 more years. Which I don't mind if he's playing up to it. Sean says, I don't know if it's been said, but we're up 20-6. Couldn't put the Eels to the sword. Let them back in. I know we're down 12 men, but we really like the cutthroat killer instinct that the best teams have. Now, that's said quite a lot, Sean, about our team this year. I know where you're coming from, but I think once you get down to that 12-man disadvantage, it really is hard to at least keep out one try. we conceded 2. We scored 1, we conceded 2, I think is correct.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit more lenient on that today, Sean, because of just that disadvantage. It was at the right point of the game where they really needed it and they got it, and it was fair enough. Clear professional foul. But I don't think today, Sean, that applies, but I think in the past it has. Like the Souths game is a classic example, obviously, earlier in the year. But the other thing I would say to Sean is the cutthroat killer instinct thing. I personally don't need to see it in round 9. I'm happy to see it if it's there, but I'm not going to lose sleep at the moment about it. Now, I've said that in the past, and we've never quite got there, and then therefore I've been in the wrong, or haven't gotten to where I want to be. So I'm saying that, but saying I will need to see that at some point. But I think at this stage, as we said, the schedule, they trained for half an hour, Sean, this week to come out with a 10-point win against the Eels at Magic Round, who they had, what was it, Josh? Like, was it almost 14 days? It would have been, 10 to 14 days break. I think it's pretty good. Do you think that's a fair assessment, fellas?
Yeah, just on that half an hour training, I went out to the stadium while they were training, and it was bucketing down. So
yeah, right.
They might have got a half an hour or so on the field, but it wasn't quality because they couldn't move the ball around too much. Look, I think the try that we scored when we had Jesse in the bin, that's the try that won us the game. So, and that was under a lot of pressure. We had a lot of ball. We still had a lot of ball after that. And then they obviously got two tries and we sealed it after that. So if you take a snapshot of the last 2 games, did we ice the moments a bit more or better than we did last week? I think yes. We got into an arm wrestle, which we probably shouldn't have got. The sin bin probably contributed to that more than anything. But we took our chances when we needed to, then kind of iced the game and got away with the win. So things to work on, but I'm pretty happy with how it ended up tonight. So considering being down 12 against the team that offloads a lot, and it's got Mitchell Moses in the side. So 2 points, move on.
Yep. Thank you, Sean, for your thoughts. Garcia said, loves Sean on Fox. He's so good to watch on his podcast. Still second best to SharkCast, though. So we appreciate that. Now, this one's going to affect Barnsey more than bowling. Are we doing music yet? Saw the new Propaganda album is out today. It's very good gear. So I've only heard the single, and it's a really good single, really strong.
Which one? They'd released 3.
The one that our mutual friend put up on the Facebook the other day.
Yes.
It's good. It's good. Sorry, mutual friend being original gangster Adam Newman. It's sort of hiding things. We can tell Propaganda anytime you like, NS. They've been doing it a long time, and they're a fantastic band. It's great to see us still going. Barnsey, you're not averse to a little bit of fast rock and roll, as we'll call it. Who are some of your favorites?
That's my jam. So, obviously Propaganda and their new album. I haven't got quite through the whole album yet. So, obviously Rise Against toured not long ago. So I was all over them at Enmore. They were outstanding. What else? I seen Green Day when they were out. They were at where did they play? Engine Stadium. And then probably previous to that, I think Wilhelm Scream, who toured a couple of years ago, did a little small gig down in Wollongong. They were outstanding as well. So, that's kind of my jam. So,
we are going to keep talking Sharks for people listening. But Josh, are you aware that The Last of Us Part 2 is out? Josh is a big Last of Us guy.
Oh mate, I watch it when it comes out. The second it comes out, I've got a tattoo of it. I know,
just razzing you.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's absolutely. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Love the changes.
I'm yet to start, but I'm preparing myself mentally to start it. So
yeah, you're gonna have a fun time.
Please tell me you guys across Mobland. I know we're veering off.
I've heard good things. Good things.
Oh yes,
I've heard good things.
It's a must watch. Yeah.
There is colleagues that are writing into us, Barnsey, colleagues of yours. Ash says, with the travel and turnaround, I'm stoked to walk away with the win. And she says, hopefully the boys can come home early and enjoy some time with their ones. That's very Ash-like, that statement. I love it. She's a lovely soul. She works with Barnsey at the Shark store. If you've been to the Shark store, then you've met Ash, and she is just awesome. Adam says, I got Dave from the Hoodoo Gurus to sing Up mid-concert in Thirroul last year. Now, I have footage of that from our other friend, a different Adam. There's 3 Adams involved now in this conversation. Adam Flanagan sent that to me, and I posted that on our Insta, I think. So that was you. Good job. Good job.
I'm sure I've seen them sing that at the old auditorium at
they did.
The old Sharks League Club, not long up. Yeah, post a premiership. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yes, that was, I think, a charity show they played, a benefit show, and it happened to coincide with that. And Paul Gallen brought it out. Win 28 points to 18. Pretty happy with the win. I just love the resilience. I love the fact that, I don't know, I just thought that there was a lot of things going against them this week mentally. A lot from the media, a lot from the fans, the banter. Even our fans were pretty nervous about the game. But I just love that kind of Fitzy short turnaround bounce back. Fitzy loves a bounce back. I know that we've lost 2 or 3 games with him in a row, but he just loves to get that ball rolling again. I mean, tell us about working with Fitzy, Barnesy. You've got a bit to do with him. Tell the world what he's like.
Oh, mate, he's probably one of the most genuine, nice fellas you'll ever meet. He did make a comment to us this week. We were down at one of the merch outlets down at the stadium doing stock take. We had it open, and he goes, "Oh, we haven't had this open for a little while." Obviously, that was a bit of a crack at the schedule and the way we haven't really been at home. So
it's above your head, Barnesy, that one.
I think he's keen to get us back to Shark Park. Oh, look, there's no doubt he's brought a really strong culture to the club. I think just the interactions now that we have with players, everyone's really genuine and polite and nice. You know, it's very rare you walk past a player, you don't get a handshake or a fist bump or a hello. So it's very much a club sort of first mentality opposed to, oh, we're the NRL team and you guys are there to help us. I think it's everyone's doing their bit to promote the club in the right way. So nothing but massive respect for Fitzy as a person and as a coach.
Yeah, nice. Matt says he saw the version at the Leeds Club. It was the best ever. It was October 2016. There you go. It was right after. Now, I don't think you're aware of this, Barnesy, but Ash and I have been talking and we've got plans in the works. So we might need you to get this one across to whoever it needs to get across. But look at this. SharkCast in-store podcast when. So we wanted to time it with the release of the retro jersey. The retro training jacket next week, but it might be too soon. But
I thought we had something scheduled back when the shop was opened.
We did.
We never got around to it. So old
Sam Skinazzi had to pull the pin on that one, but now I don't have to pull the pin, so we can talk about that. We appreciate it.
Anytime you like, we can work it out.
Sharks win 28-18. How good is that? Okay, here's a great question for you from Original Gangster RCB. Barnesy, would the NRL be mad if you started selling Shark shirts with the big Super League on them? So what kind of like do you have to get everything approved by the NRL?
Are we talking retro jerseys and
anything
and
anything at all?
Yeah, anything that's produced with a Sharks logo on it has to come from a licensed supplier and has to be approved by the NRL. Would they approve something with a Super League logo on it? I'd be shocked if they did.
Yeah, which is topical. Like I am searching for some stuff to do with the Super League, particularly an XL jersey, but it's just interesting now. We've gotten to that point where it's so far removed, and the people that care about it probably they've got nothing to do with the Sharks, or it's older generations, etc., etc. I wonder if there will be. I wonder if, like in 30 years' time, when you're retiring, Barnes, you'll ask, be like, "Oh, we can get this cleared,"
Well, I mean, I get it. Like Super League, to in some respects, saved us as a club.
Yeah, but even without all that stuff,
it's
just kind of retro cool, right? Like it doesn't get more retro than that, I guess. 1 year competition, wow, But okay, the answer is you would need to get things approved, and we probably wouldn't think that that would happen.
Ultimately, that wouldn't be my decision. That'd be some of the big wigs at the NRL that would make that call.
Josh, what did you make of Jesse Ramian tonight? We were a bit critical of him in the past few weeks. I thought that, his stats look good, like 136 meters, a couple of tackle busts, 18 tackles, 19 possessions in total. Like he looked back in the zone. I thought Ero was the better setter, but what did you make of Ramian tonight? Is he getting back to his best or closer to where he should be?
I think he looked a lot more focused tonight. He looked really locked into the game. He was, when we won a penalty or when we scored a try, he was one of the first guys in there pumping the boys up. And that's when Jesse's on. I think he's got triggers to him that you see when he's going to have a good game. And like I said at the start, like I thought defensively, I thought him and both and Ero were outstanding. There was a few times where someone was just about to get away and a last ditch. Sean Russell, like he just ate him a few times, and his carries out of our end were really critical. I thought it was one of his better games this year so far.
Can you answer this question from Ham Man, though? Why does Ramian run sideways to the center of the field?
I think he's just looking for gaps. I think he's trying to look for somewhere to poke his nose through. Mm-hmm. Depending on where at what point of the set, maybe he's just trying to reset the attacking shape. So if it gives us the option to go back left or go back right, I think it's just a matter of him just trying to poke holes and then maybe provide an offload through the middle. And then sometimes I think he's just maybe a bit of a headless chook as well. So take your pick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it's game plan related. I reckon the plan was to go. Yeah, I think it was game plan related. I reckon the plan was to set the middle and really just knock the front door down. So
gotcha.
If our outside backs can get to the middle, then get to the middle, and our big boppers work off the back of that.
Now, Jasperillo is watching at Magic Round. He said the boys played well up. So I don't know if you can jump on the show, Jasperillo, but we'd love to hear how the event was. Someone who's there, that'd be awesome. Maybe you're still watching the game. What's the score update, Josh? What do you got for us?
It's 32-8 Roosters.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
They've been playing pretty well.
Okay. Roosters are back in contention. Well, okay. Barnesy, how does the coming weeks look for you as far as merch goes? Give us a bit of behind the scenes with the merch. What's the story?
Well, we just finished stock take, so that was a pretty full-on week. We're probably off the back of stock take, put some stuff out on sale, probably some of our summer range. Yeah, we've got a cool jersey release coming out shortly that we look to play in around 14. I'm not going to go into what that is, but stay tuned. I think we'll probably look to release that around bye week.
Is that for sale?
That's a play on-field player one. Yeah, it would be for sale. Yep, on-field player one jersey. So
can you say if it's retro or not, or is it something else? Is it retro or
that? Something. No, it's something else.
Wow. Okay, that'll get the forums
going.
I
guess it's a theme round for us, so they'll be wearing it on field. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll stay tuned for that one. Obviously, you can't say much more.
It's a club first. I'll just say the theme's a club first. So, I'm excited to
have
I think it's pretty cool.
Have other clubs
outside of that?
it?
Yeah.
Have other clubs done the theme?
Yes, in some degree, yes.
Okay, no worries. Can't say much more. There you go. That's exciting.
It's not a pride jersey. So just to put that to bed, it's not a pride jersey.
And
nothing
no one
that
on this show would have an
controversial.
issue. No one would have an issue with that if it
Not-
was. So
Not at all. But
Asher said no comment, boss.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
All right. That sounds good. Well, it's good to know that you guys are always looking to, incorporate new ideas and things for the club. That's awesome. Can I ask one more question about the merch? And I've been hammering you.
Yep.
Genuine as you can. Has the store at Woolaware been a success?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Raging success if
Great.
Revenue figures are anything to go by. So yes.
Great. I have one more question for you. I'm sorry. It's from Ghastly.
Yep.
Why wasn't there an Anzac jersey this year? It's a big question that we've been getting a lot. Do you want to answer that? Are you able to answer that?
Topical question. Or I guess as a group, it wasn't purely a merch decision. As a group, we decided not to run with one this year. I know I have. I think if we were to do a jersey like that, it's really got to mean something to the club. It's not just let's stick an image on a jersey, and it probably echo some of the thoughts that Clinton had about it. I don't want it to be a money grab. I think it's the Anzac spirit's worth more. I know I have engaged Ash, our club historian, to look into whether the club has some really, any type of military history or the region. We just really haven't found anything of any note that would warrant sort of putting or theming a jersey at this stage. So I'm not saying we'll never do one, but at this stage, we just didn't have a plan to do one this year.
All right. Well, that's good to get it straight from the horse's mouth. We do get a lot of merch questions, Barnsey, and sometimes I try and get most of them to you, but sometimes they slip through the cracks. But that was one I was getting a lot of questions about, the old Anzac Day Guernsey. Sharks win 28-18, continue our climb towards the top four. We got Manly next week at Sunday, and then we come home finally in a couple of weeks on a Saturday night. It's going to be big for merchandise. So bring your card, bring your cash, and we play the Storm. So that's always a massive game, and I really can't wait for that one. Josh, how do you think we're looking for the next 2 weeks? Manly, Melbourne, they're not easy games.
Yeah, they're going to be tough, as was mentioned earlier. Manly coming off a bye with the 2 weeks in a row off a bye against those teams. So just more to prove. Go to Brookvale or Four Pines and do Manly again. They're my most despised sports franchise on the planet. So any chance to beat those mugs would be it's the highlight of my year when we beat them. I want to beat them so badly. So hopefully we can go and do a job on them over there with Tom Trbojevic, knock the doubters again. And Melbourne, another chance to prove ourselves back to back. If we go 2 out of 2 there, shut a lot of people up.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. We've shown we can already beat Manly, I should say, and we beat them in the hot weather over at in Perth. So bit of rest for the boys this week, thank goodness. And then Melbourne, which I guess Barnesy, your crew is going to be pretty excited about, to have some people to sell merchandise to.
It'd just be good to be back at home.
It will.
Yeah, obviously we took the merch on the road to Perth, which was a massive trip to freight stock over there and hire staff and whatever. But to do it at home in our own turf, and to play Melbourne, I think it's probably the best homecoming for us. Obviously, been away for a while. Will Harry be back? Hopefully, he's not.
Hopefully not.
I'm not sure. Not sure.
I don't think he will be. They said he's touch and go for Origin, so hopefully he will not be there.
I think Saturday night, Shark Park. If the weather's good, I don't think there's anything better.
Nothing better.
Although the late southerly is always good. Kicks in. It's always good for sales. People can get caught out. So.
I'm so cold. I need a hoodie. It's gonna have a great vibe. There always a lot of feeling in those games. Michael did ask, what was the best-selling retro jersey we've released? Do you have an answer for that, Barnesy?
Sorry, you just cut out.
The best-selling best-selling retro jersey we have released?
Oh, good question. Probably the last two that were done are pretty much on par. So the RMX/Reebok slanted one we did last year, and then the Super League Pepsi inspired one that we did with, I think it was the last year we were with Dynasty. It was probably the two. I think next year's will top them all. Got
Wow.
that planned in the works for next year.
Look at that. Okay.
I can't wait to get my hands on that new jacket. That was
Oh.
I said to Sam, I was like, that doesn't look real. It looks that good. Like I was like, that's fake. I was like, I need that today.
I mean, it's hard to beat the Aussie Duck one, isn't it? That was a beauty. I wear that one a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one's the next level up.
All right. Our colleague Kieran did ask me a question before, which I can bring to you guys. He said, "Is Britton Nickera the best second rower of all time?"
So
where does he stand? Where does he stand for the Sharks? Is he? Sorry, Barnesy. Is Britton Nickera like one of the best Sharks second rowers of all time at this point? Has he still got some more to prove? That was from Kieran.
Yeah, he's close to the podium. Probably some recent bias. It's hard to take Wado or Louis' spot as one or two. I think he's probably in the top 5 best back rowers in the comp as it stands today. So, the way he's tracking, he probably could be number 1.
So in the NRL, Barnesy.
Yep.
You're saying top 5. Where is he in the top 5 approximately? Where would you have him?
Oh.
Higher end, lower end?
Oh, higher end. I think there's no one that runs a line like him.
True.
Hands down. I actually think he can skip outside on an edge better than most as well. We probably just don't see that enough. I think he's probably one of the quickest as well. Like he's got speed as a center, really, and he's not a massive guy, and he hits really good in defence. He does worry me sometimes. He's prone to a jam in high shot or a shoulder. He's got that in his game.
Saw that last week.
Yeah. Well, barely touched him. Get off the ground, Luai. There's some good centers out there, but he's definitely up there.
Josh, you're a big Brit guy. I mean, every week he sort of, I don't know if he gets better, but he's definitely just very noticeably very good at his job.
I think my favorite thing about Brit outside of the line running is his cover defense. I think he cleans up so much stuff for us, like covering tackles or just if someone's fallen off, like he just always seems to get there and bring someone down. Like, and Teague's the same. They just do so much cleanup work. They're such good defenders. I'd like to see where we'd be without him, honestly. Like even Billy Burns, like he did a lot of good stuff tonight, like cleanup work and running that unders line, just waiting to get bashed. Like they all do that, and you know, there's not many others in the comp you'd want more.
Michael did ask if anyone else panicked when Will went down. I definitely panicked, and we'll wait and see how he's going into next week. There's no reason to worry at the moment, but we'll wait and see on that because, yeah, the options are a little bit slim there. But we'll work it out. If he misses a game, we'll work it out. But I'm not suggesting he will. Boys, we might wrap it up because it's been a great show, and I've kept you guys waiting a long time with me, which has been brilliant. Thanks to everyone who just keeps watching. This is awesome. One last one from Ghastly. He said, I like how Nickera's his right second row spot pretty much every game since debut. He's only sat out due to suspension, so he's never been benched. Injury wise, he's pretty good. So he's very reliable, in other words. Very, very reliable. Thanks, Ghastly. Appreciate all your input tonight. Barnesy, we'll come and see you. Well, we can come and see you in the store, especially you and your colleagues. If you're not there, your colleagues will be there, and Ash will be there as well. Down at Woolooware Bay Precinct, and it's very easy to find. It's an amazing store if you haven't been. It's the most spacious Shark store we've had. It's brilliantly set up. Games are on. A lot of merch there. I thoroughly recommend it. I love going down there a lot, and that's where I get my merch from. So anything you want to spruik about the store? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to, the website?
Obviously, I'm pretty biased. I think it's probably the best shop an NRL club's ever done or is out there at the moment. So if you don't see something there, or if you see a Sharks merch somewhere else and we don't have it, let us know. And if it's worth getting in, we'll get it in. So come down and say hello. I think every member and fan that is, into buying merch, come and buy it from the club. So every dollar spent with us stays with us. So come and see us.
Well said.
I'll be down there soon to get that jacket.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Get in quick.
that might be the first podcast show there. We'll just line up for the outside for the opening.
Come down, you can help me unpack it and get it out on the shelf, and then we can do a podcast then. Bit of cheap labour. You might get one for free.
Yeah, well, that sounds good. Watch your space on that one. Barnesy, thanks for hanging in there with us. We'll remove you from the show when we'll wrap up. Me. Really appreciate it. Thanks. It's I believe your second time at least face to face, so to speak. You obviously contribute a lot as well outside of that. So we'll talk to you soon, my man.
Thanks, guys.
Good to speak to you, mate.
Thank you. Up. Josh, that was the great Adam Barnes. What a great pleasure to have him on. All you guys and girls are so obsessed with merchandise. That was some stuff straight from the horse's mouth. We obviously have covered the show a lot before Barnesy. Sorry, we covered the game a lot before Barnesy joined and also during, but it's good to make the most of that while he's there.
Yeah.
And Josh, just before we hit end, I mean, goodbye thoughts on the game tonight. Overall, goodbye thoughts.
Yeah.
Leave us with something wise.
I did want to just give a quick shout out to the captain. I thought he was incredible tonight. Try aside, I mean, that was a great try, but I thought he was back to his best. I think he's had a few down weeks the last couple of weeks. I think his meters were up, his contact.
He was good.
He was really good tonight. So I just wanted to give the captain a shout out.
I agree. I thought that was one of the first things I noticed in the game was him bouncing around. He had a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I've got to say, Josh, when they showed the opening sheds during warm up as they're about to run out, Parra looked a lot more up, and the Sharks, just to my kind of negative way of thinking, they looked a little bit. I thought, they look really tired, and I was like, well, they probably are tired. Fair enough. But I kind of thought, I hope this goes. I hope the body language isn't what I'm going to see, and it wasn't. Like, it was nothing like that. It was just the moment that I saw. But when they ran out and when they started doing hit ups, and particularly with the captain, he just had a spring in his step. He was probably making 8 to 10 meters a run. He's got that kind of almost like that kind of acceleration for a guy who you wouldn't think is fast. He's got that little acceleration with the toughness of the hit, and he got the quick play of the ball. So I agree. I thought he was fantastic. I didn't think that we had much negativity out there at all. I thought it was a great team effort. There's guys that can maybe lift on what they're doing, but overall, I was pretty happy. And I know that a few people said we should have gone away with it. We should have blown them away. Maybe we thought that might happen if there wasn't the sin bin, but the sin bin changes everything. Like, you can defend against 13, obviously, with 12, but on the back of what they've done all this season, it's a hard thing for them to kind of, I think, adapt to in that moment of the game. And they scored a try, and then you thought, happy days, but then they, it did concede from there. So I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that kind of stuff at the moment?
Look, it's like we said last week. I'd rather, be disappointed with things to improve on with a win than being disappointed with a loss. And,
yes.
Rewind 5 days ago, and we're all feeling, the absolute pinch of a pretty heartbreaking loss. So it was good to. I still wasn't over it till today, really. Like, I was still thinking about it and thinking of what ifs and all that stuff. So it was really that's really set up the weekend. Now we can all enjoy Magic Round and know that we've got the win in the two banks, and we've got a nice big turnaround. And
so back tomorrow. The Sharks are back in Cronulla tomorrow, and they've got a full week over a week to get ready for Manly, which will be, it's always a challenge over there, but we'll get the job done. So I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to come off a win, Josh. It really is, and a win that I think they deserved. And I was pretty happy overall. And I can't wait to talk about it for the rest of the week coming towards us.
It was a good game of footy as well, I thought. And a lot of my neutral mates were saying this is a really good game of footy. Like, I'm sure if they weren't panicking like we were, it would have been really enjoyable.
I texted my friend Tom Hudson, who's a big Para fan, and at halftime, and I went, "You guys are playing pretty good. Like, this is a pretty good game, and both teams are in it, and I'm happy with my guys." And that just continued on. It was a pretty good game for the neutral. So everyone enjoyed Magic Round. If you're up there, let us know how your experience was. If you want to get in touch with us, it's very easy to do. We are on all the social medias. You can DM us. We are on the email, sharkcastpod@gmail.com, and we have a website, sharkcast.com.au, and it's very easy to leave a message on there for us. It's easy to give us a review. It's easy to do a bunch of things. You can watch all the videos, all the audio. It's all there. So that's our spruiking. Shout out to our friends at Dyson Logistics, the Royal Motor Yacht Club in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes at Cripps and Cripps Real Estate. And everyone who joined tonight, how good was that, Joshy? We had Jardine made an appearance, and we had the Dover family, and Barnesy joined, and we had Steve, a caller, call in, and everyone else just a lot of comments, which we'll reply to as well later on. So thanks to everyone. You know, you guys and girls know how I feel. I repeat myself every freaking week, but you know how I feel, and you know how we feel on behalf of the pod. Joshy, we will talk to you throughout the week, I'm sure, at some point. Enjoy your weekend, my friend. Stay out of trouble. Enjoy The Last of Us. I know you're going to watch like the repeat of the repeat of the repeat of the repeat. What did that scene mean? Oh, my God. I'll let you know when I start watching it. Everyone else, enjoy your weekend. This has been SharkCast Pod. We love what we do. We love that you love what we do. And if you don't love what we do, try and like it, because we like what we do. We love what we do. Up Cronulla. I'm going to play the song for the audio version. I can't play it right now, but maybe we'll work out how to do that. It's pretty easy to do. I just haven't organized it. Up Cronulla, Joshy. Talk to you soon.
Let's go, baby.